Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Abraham Lincoln once said that if he was given 6 hours to chop down a tree, he'd spend 4 hours sharpening the axe, and he'd spend 2 hours actually chopping down the tree. So the president's words are huge for what we're about to talk about today, because what the president is saying is that the more time you spend up front taking care of business, organizing, planning, getting your things together, the more it's going to help you later on down the road. So, for example, if chopping down the tree is like going to Notre Dame University, the more time we spend with these little skills like organizing and planning, the better chance we have of getting to that place, to being successful when we get there as well. Okay? We don't want to have to develop this habit when we get to Notre Dame. We want to already have that skill so we thrive there. Maybe you don't want to go to Notre Dame. Regardless, the point is, sharpen the axe first. So we have to change our mindset, folks. Organization is not some boring task. It's not a chore, okay? It's not something we have to do. It's something we get to do to get us to the next level, all right? It's something we get to do to make ourselves the best engineer, the best college student, the best actor, the best baseball player, the best student athlete we can be. So we master this now so that later on we get the rewards that we're looking for. And so with that in mind, you know, it's really important to spend time working on something, and it's really important to create the opportunities or get the opportunities to work on it. But knowing the methods that it takes to use organization as a skill, to develop and cultivate that skill, is an entirely different story. So what I want to do right now is go over some steps, some tips that you can use to help your student and students, things that you can do to help yourself master and cultivate this skill that we call organizing and planning. All right, and the first tip, all right, the first tip is create the environment. Okay, what do I mean by this? If you look in front of me,
Jeffrey Martinez, please report to the main office. Mr. Martinez, report to the main office or dial 4495. Thanks.
That's the 5th time that's happened to me, and I'm not doing any extra takes anymore, okay? So what do I mean by creating the environment? Creating the environment means developing a workstation for our students, all right? Students, you want to take organizing seriously, you want to take your academic game seriously, find a place in your house. Maybe it's in your bedroom, you have a desk in your bedroom, or maybe it's down in the basement where you have a big table where you can sprawl all your things out. I don't know, find that place and make it feel magical. Make it feel like a place where you're going to get smarter. You know, hang up a Notre Dame flag, hang up your vision board, whatever it is, create this environment. And when you create this environment, have the supplies that are going to help you make this binder the best binder it can be. So what are those supplies? Well, first of all, one of my biggest supplies that I use is this big dog right here. All right, this is the Escalade of binders, or Escalade of binder hole punchers, if you will. If Tim the Toolman Taylor was here right now, he would be like, more power? Now, I'm not saying that you have to use this guy right here, but have a hole puncher at your workstation. Alright, what else do we want at our workstation? We want some hole puncher reinforcements here. These are great if your papers rip. You can put these around the holes and they'll stay in here. Another thing that I don't have in my station are some plastic page dividers. Those are even better than these. Next thing is have an extra pencil pouch. Have some extra pens. Have an extra notebook. All of these extras will save you time. This is sharpening the axe. You put these in your workstation, right? That way, when it's 8 o'clock and you're organizing your binder on a Wednesday night, you don't go, oh my gosh, I need a new notebook, Mom. Can you take me to CVS? No, it's right here at your workstation, okay? So have these extras so that you can restock your zipper pouch. You can restock your binder, all right? How else do we create the environment? Well, it's really helpful if we have some folders in our environment, okay? And we can use these folders to file papers for future reference. Maybe, for example, there's a paper that we find in our dividers, all right? And we realize that, oh man, this is something that I want to refer to later, but you don't want to weigh your binder down with it. Maybe what you can do is file that in folders at home and keep them in your workstation. Okay, so that's how we create the environment. That's number 1. All right, number 2, commit. Commit to a date. All right, maybe it's Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Maybe it's Thursday night, 7:30, whatever it is, but commit to a date. All right, once we commit to our date and we have the environment that we've created and we go to that date on a regular basis, we treat that date as one of the most important things that we can do. It's like going to baseball practice, okay? It's that important because it's going to get you here. It's like playing video games. You all have that time at night where you cool down to play video games. Okay, well, why can't you have that time at night where you ramp up to get your organization skills cultivated? Next, this is what I call the 3-pile method, okay? The 3-pile method is where you take this binder and you turn it into magic. And this is how you do it, okay? Now, this binder right here is an actual binder from one of my Avid students. I graded it today, and I asked him if I could keep it. And on the surface, this thing looks good, okay, on the surface. If we open this thing up, one of the things that we're going to find, and it's a flaw that I find with nearly every student, is they let these dividers turn into a place where holes or papers are going to die. It's like the black hole, all right? These are the black holes of dividers, and of binders, if you will. Because what students like to do is they like to just shove papers in here. And when they continue to shove and shove and shove, you'll never know what comes up in these piles. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this stuff out of here, and we're going to use the 3-pile method. Now what I do is I have one pile that I use for file. It's the file pile. Anything that I want to put away for long-term reference, I put in folders like this. The second pile that I have is the keep it file. This is stuff that has to go into my binder ASAP. And the third pile is stuff that I can toss, things that I can throw out so that I don't weigh my binder down so much. All right, so let's take a look at what's in the contents of this student's divider. All right, first of all, he has the sample Cornell note-taking checklist. This is something we use in my first hour class to grade their notes, all right? He knows this. He's seen this. He doesn't have to have this in his binder. It's not like he's going to study from it. As a matter of fact, it's probably better to have this at home, so when he goes home to review his Cornell notes, he has it maybe hanging up, all right? So this can be something that he files away in a folder like this, all right? Next thing, an Avid binder rubric. This is the same category. He doesn't need this every day in his binder. This is something he can look at home. So we're going to put that in the file pile. Now this is crazy. These are science C notes. These are notes that he should actually be having in his science divider, but he's got it stuck in his Avid divider. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it off to the side here because this is something that he's going to fix when he gets to the science section of his Avid binder. Okay? The next handout's here. This handout right here actually is for an activity that we're currently doing in class. So he's going to put this in the need it pile. This is stuff that he's going to need. And you can see that I'm going to continue this process. Throw it away. Or I'm sorry. This is actually an extra copy of this. So this is going to go in the toss it pile. See ya! Okay? This right here is going in the keep it file. This right here is going in the keep it file. Keep it file. Keep it file. Keep it, and this is crazy. When you get to this one, this is an assignment that he just came across because he stuck it in his divider. This assignment was due 2 weeks ago, and students do this all the time. They say, Mr. Long, I swear I turned that in. Why don't you give me a grade for it? Because I don't have it. And then I ask them to look in their binders, and they'll pull out a stack of papers this thick, stuffed in one of these dividers, and they'll find things like this. So what I recommend for this is I recommend that when you find something like this that's late or missing, I tell students to stick it up front right here, right? And when they stick it here, it's really helpful because when they get into class in the morning, the first thing they're going to see when they open this binder is that missing assignment. So that's priority mail right there, okay? And the last thing you have here, he can throw this out. This is much cooler when you do it this way. See ya! Now make sure you pick up the garbage that you throw onto your floor, okay? Don't leave it for your parents to pick up. Alright, so now we have all the stuff that we're going to file. Okay, we put that away. The next thing we're going to do is another strategy, and I like to call this use your binder like a valuable book. Think about your favorite book. Maybe it's a scrapbook from when you played baseball when you were a kid. Or maybe it's your favorite novel. I don't know what it is, but this binder cannot just be a storage unit. You've got to change your mindset, okay? Instead of being a storage unit, this binder has to be a book. So all of these papers that he needs, we're not using dividers anymore to stick them in there. Instead, we're going to start hole punching them. And we're going to put them in these rings so that this thing can flip like a book. So how do we do that? Well, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. What I like to do is when I organize these papers, I put them in order of priority. What's most important, second most important, third most important. Some kids like to put them in chronological order, so this happened first, second, third. However you do it, it's fine as long as that system makes sense. So this is really important. It's a field trip permission slip. This student is going to want to keep this in the front so when he opens his binder, he sees it. This right here is part of an activity that we're doing in class, so that's important. And this handout goes with it. This actually is the order that it goes. Same with this right here. And so these 4 handouts are all for one activity. So we'll put those together. And this thing is probably like the least important, but it's something that we do review on a weekly basis, so that'll go on the bottom. All right? So now we have all these papers that were stuck in these dividers, and now we take them and we hole punch them. And after we hole punch them, more power, okay, we stick them in the rings. And now what we have is the beginning of a beautiful book. We took this thing and turned it from a storage unit to something that we can actually flip through and study and respect. Okay, no one respects sloppiness. So why would we treat our binder in a sloppy fashion? All right, so the next step, once you get through one section, is what I like to call rinse, wash, and repeat. Now, I can't take credit for this one. I heard this from another person at an Avid workshop, but it's just like when you're washing your hair, right? You rinse it, you wash, you repeat. So to clean this binder up, to make ourselves feel clean, we're going to go through that same process for every section. And those are the methods that I use. Try them out, see how they work for you. I guarantee if you can stick to this plan, you're going to be successful.